Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlicker shows, Netflix, search, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome. And so Trump has now put tariffs on foreign films, and all I can say is I have no idea what he's thinking. It just makes no sense whatsoever. The American film industry does not need any protections. The United States film industry dominates the world, and so this whole idea of putting tariffs on foreign films. And the influx of foreign films in the United States is minuscule compared to the amount of films that America exports around the world. And a lot of box office receipts are huge on the basis of foreign markets. American films that play even in China have a lot to do with massive box office receipts. So it just makes no sense whatsoever. And this whole idea that foreign films are a national security threat because there's so-called propaganda also makes no sense. Most of the foreign films coming to the United States are pretty far away from propaganda. Certainly, there's been a lot of Russian films in the past that have a Russian-centered viewpoint, particularly regarding history. But that's to be accepted and inevitable. And one could argue that it's American films that are full of propaganda and are a threat to other countries as far as statist propaganda. The United States films has been a dominant feature of American films stretching back 100 years. And most notably lately, of course, the whole woke phenomenon. And so the amount of propaganda being issued by the United States film industry far exceeds anything coming from foreign markets. And so this whole idea too that the Hollywood industry is under threat and needs protection. Also, there's no basis in realities with that either. The American film industry is having problems because they're competing with streaming, and going to a theater has become relatively expensive and it's inconvenient. And then they're also collapsing because they keep putting out just years and years and years of retreads and gargantuan superhero movies, and they've run their course. And a lot of them are just bombastic and over the top. And they still do good in foreign markets. But then we also have the whole woke agenda that has dominated American films for about the last 10 years. And so, most notably, of course, Disney productions, the last film industry that should be involved in woke. We used to be able to depend on Disney to put out family-friendly and non-political content. And so any failures in Hollywood have to do with the kind of crap that they put out. And another thing that's interesting about this, of course, is that the Hollywood community as a whole has been very anti-conservative and very anti-Trump and have been very vocal about it. So the whole idea that Trump is protecting this industry that hates him and has taken every opportunity to lambast him adds another weird component to this whole thing. So I just don't get it. So I don't know what's going to happen moving forward. Of course, one thing that will happen is if all these countries around the world put massive tariffs on American films, which is going to make it even worse for Hollywood. And then also streaming services. Of course, getting foreign films is generally inexpensive to license. And I don't know how that's going to affect. Are we going to see foreign film sections of Amazon and Hulu and the like disappear because it just won't make economic sense to license them with all these extra expenses from tariffs? So the whole thing just doesn't really make much sense to me, and I don't get it. But I'm getting to this point where I'm just really curious as to why Trump bothers himself with such piddly things sometimes. Of course, the latest one is opening Alcatraz. It'll probably cost $100 million to renovate Alcatraz, but it has some symbolism for Trump. But why is he bothering that? Why is he bothering renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America when everybody's going to continue to call it the Gulf of Mexico? And now we have the Gulf of the Persian Gulf is now going to be called the Arabian Gulf. And once again, people are sure just going to call it the Persian Gulf, but mainly my point being that, why is he concerned about such trivialities? We have big issues to deal with. And but this whole idea of tariffs on foreign films is really just nonsensical to me, and it's going to hurt Hollywood even more, and it's going to hurt a lot of certainly independent filmmakers of foreign films, and that's a lot of foreign films are small independent filmmakers, just like we have in the United States, and so his idea of watch American movies just rings hollow because pretty much Americans mostly watch American movies. There's a whole swath of demographics in the United States that wouldn't even bother with foreign films. So it just makes no sense, and it's going to backfire. And if a lot of other countries, and particularly large markets like China, have huge tariffs or don't even allow American films, it's just going to dig Hollywood's grave even faster. So anyway, I don't get it. I love foreign films, and so it will really affect me. It'll really bother me if I have access to a lot less foreign films, because they're certainly, for the most part, are much better films as far as being adult and sophisticated and have interesting stories to tell from all around the globe, something that Americans really need to be exposed to. But instead, Trump wants to protect a bombastic, dying Hollywood with all its woke messages and endless CGI trash like superhero movies. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too?